All right, I can hear you, little buggers. Those birds are honing in on my mink. I was down there; they were making a lot of noise, and I saw the doe. And oh, warning graphics. If you're gonna look away, well, I guess too late. Got my poor frozen mink here. Gonna get him home, let him thaw out, get him out of the trap. And I'll bring the trap back tomorrow. But you see, that's how fast they're finding them. You can hear them all the birds are coming. They're coming to get him. I can smell the bait. Again, when you're trapping, the first season, I shouldn't spoil this for you because it's a nice treat. But the first season, like, you don't see nothing, and all of a sudden stuff starts getting used to your smell, and then you just start seeing everything. And the first thing you're going to start seeing is birds. They're going to start following you, as you can see. Like, dude, we'll have some of that. You know, yeah, you do the killing, we'll do the eating. Yeah, that's the way that's the deal they want to work out with me. However, gotta pay the bird tax, right? So yeah, feed me. It is getting very warm right now. I felt a drop a little while ago. I think we got some freezing rain coming and stuff. This is good and deadly coming down here. So we got my nice little mink. There was nothing at the beaver house, but hopefully tomorrow I'll get the first beaver trap in, and or the first two. The idea is I'm going to trap the house first. That's top priority, and then I'm going to get all the other traps set up fairly well. This I'm just going to rebait it. I want to get rid of this pail and, you know, do something else, something better. I got another trap at home, which I took home yesterday, strangely enough, and I caught him last night, so easy. Yeah. Another thing you could do if you don't want to, which I would, well, if you don't want to risk ripping the fur or having the fur come off on what they're stuck on, is just put your hands on the fur and warm them off the thing. However, if you understood how gross this pail is, you'd understand why I'm carrying it home. I really don't want to be sticking my hands in there and trying to warm them up to get them off there. But just be careful that, you know, like that's why I don't even loosen the springs on the trap when I'm doing this, because even doing that, you could pull the hairs out, and it doesn't take much to devalue a pelt, right? So he's not heavy though, but it's getting warm out, and I had a big patin today, so I'm a little bit I think I got gravy and cheese coming out my pores there. That's good. A very good day. Been a good week. 2 money animals in 1 week. That's not great. I mean, I know there's professional trappers that catch, you know, 50 animals a day type of thing, but when you're set up as half-assed as I am, that's not bad. I'm not that bad set up. It's just very late to the season. Like the last past couple of weeks, all I should have been doing from day one is just setting the traps whenever, you know, to set the traps. I should have been baiting the first half of the season, and then I should have been just basically checking traps. None of this trying to get everything out and whatever. But the good fur doesn't come along till you know, mid-December, like now, till about mid-February is your best furs for most animals. Each animal has a different. These guys peak very early. They start losing their guard hair in January, believe it or not, end of January. Strange, but so, you know, he's probably pretty close to prime. So caught him at a good time. Anyway, timing is a lot. Timing and targeting your animals to be prime. Again, you're going to put the same amount of work. Well, geez, same amount of work in them, whether you have a prime animal or a late animal or an early animal. So you might as well catch them while they're prime. I know some people have the theory, yeah, but if I catch more, I make more. Yeah, but it's the work. You might, you know, I think you'll catch about the same if you target well, but at least, you know, your labor goes a little bit further. Now these guys, they're not that much labor, but they're, you know, they're still labor. It's all work. I mean, heck, just getting them home is an hour. You know what I mean? So that is what it is, but very happy with my first mink in a long time. Not a bad color. He's nice light brown. It's probably a female. It's either a really large female or a small male. The minks that are worth the most are the ones that are like just jet black almost, or really, really, really extremely dark brown, but even the whole way. Those are the ones that fetch the most. But that said, the mink market's kind of strange because you've got a weird thing happening with the mink market right now at the making of this video. You've got NAFA, not NAFTA, but NAFA down there in the States. They invested heavily in fox and mink ranchers. Yeah, and tree's revenge for me throwing my tomahawk at us. I'm gonna make him slip on the ice. And it's a bust. You know, like the people aren't making money with the, like the mink prices aren't high enough for them to make the money. And they lost a lot of money on it, and they closed the NAFA. And most of my, I guess most of the American trappers use NAFA. That's a they were very big. So everybody's going to be using. Now this, the bad side is, the good side is that it means there's less mink ranchers. The demand for mink will go up, right? But the bad side is that I use Fur Harvesters auction, right? And that means everybody's going to be sending their minks there, so there'll be an overabundance of mink, so it might just completely bottom out the price. It's hard to say. You know, the trapper's the guy who gets, you know, because you got to think of all the people that take a cut. The first is I catch the animal, okay, then I send it out. So there's that shipment. Well, the pickup is free, but there is you can't say it's free because you're going to pay a percentage of your auction. What you make, they take, I can't remember what the percentage is, 10%, whatever it is, maybe 5%, whatever it is of your catch, depending on how much you get, right? And you got a middleman, but there's more than a middleman. Then you got the postal service, you know, getting that check back to you, which is not a big deal, but it still adds. And then once you catch it, you bring it home, you get your check home. Okay, and you go cash it. Well, there's banking fees, not much, but then you have a transaction record. You got to do your taxes, so you're already taxed on it. You basically you have service fees and tax fees, you know, like a ton of stuff before the money comes back to you. So your $10 mink really might only be worth $5 by the time you get it back, you know what I mean? By the time you pay the taxes on everything and everything like that. Depends, you know what I mean? But you get the idea of what I'm getting at. So the trapper gets the short end of the stick, and he's the guy that does the hardest work next to the person sewing up the coats. But that's yeah, that's trapping, right? Just the way the world works. Now here's dangerous as hell. I love this tomahawk, except for when I'm walking on ice. It kind of, especially after I freshly sharpened it up, don't want to impale myself on it. So this is how my Friday the 13th has went. Right after the 12/12 crazy moon. That's right. That's right, Mr. Blue Jay. He's like, I want some fries with that. You gonna eat that? That's what he's saying to me. Yeah, so last full moon of the decade. Yeah, the first decade of the century coming to an end, and the last Friday the 13th of the decade. That's kind of cool. And my first mink of the year. And my first mink in a long time. I think the last time I actually caught furs was in 2014. I think I tried again to trap in 2015 and 2016. But I think what ended up happening was I got so busy at the time with YouTube that I wasn't able to do any actual trapping. So that's why season 5 and 6 are kind of like null and void and don't really exist. And if you're on my Professional Canadian Beaver Walker channel saying, how come there's a season 7 but no season 1 to 7? There is, it's just not on this channel. It's on my Not Reg Me channel. But long story short, because of YouTube censorship and everything like that, with all my political stuff, which you may like or may not like, it's basically, this is my new channel now. This is the new home now, you know what I mean? This is the clean start until they decide to ban this kind of stuff. But there we go. So I'm gonna get them home and get them thawed out, get them cleaned up, get them out of my trap, and we'll have a good look at them. But yeah, that's not too bad. Not too bad. Not a bad capture, just I wish I probably had a 120 would have been a better ideal for him. This trap's probably better set up for a fisher. But it's still good. Still good. All right. Okay, one thing I gotta do, turn off my GoPro. And yeah,